All right, let's get ourselves started. You may hear a little bit of jingly jangly. Thanks, Alexandria. Jingly jangly. My dog is sitting right beside the camera and she's shaking around a little bit, but I think she's on the move now. So there you go. All right, so let's get started. Come on over to your mat, rolling out your mat if you are practicing on a mat or whatever it is you happen to be practicing on today, a towel, a blanket, or a floor, and have lots of props around you to use during your practice today. So blocks can be really great today. If you don't have blocks, use a couple stacks of pillows or a box or a chair. Um, strap may come in really handy today as well. So grab a strap or a towel or a blanket. Have a towel or a blanket anyway to sit up on, and you can use that in replacement of your strap or roll out the back of your yoga mat. Let's actually begin seated. So I'm going to sit up on my blanket. You can roll out a towel or again the back of your yoga mat or pillow and just sit up on the edge of it, just allowing a little bit of a forward tilt for your pelvis so the hips are a little higher than the knees. And we'll just take a moment to lengthen our spines, settle the shoulders. Here we are. And before we begin, I'd love you to just take a moment and take in the space around you. So look around. Take a moment to really notice the environment you're in, the shape of the room, what's in the room, the lighting. Is there sunlight coming in? Is there something in the space that brings you joy? Is there something that irritates you in this space? Just giving yourself a moment to notice the environment you're in, the sounds. And just take a moment to recognize the privilege that we have to have this space to practice in. And we have this body that allows us to practice. Sometimes not always in the way that we wish it would perform, but we have the ability. Just take a moment in appreciation for the environment that you're in and the body that you get to exist in. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to softly close or soften your gaze and be in this body. Noticing if we can really allow ourselves to feel what it feels like to be within the body as opposed to being outside looking in, visualizing the physical shape of the body. Instead, just noticing if there's an ability to tune in to being inside the body. What is there? What is noticing? Here you are. And notice the greatness and the awesomeness of this Here you are. This is enough. You are enough. Just this. As you move your body, continue to remind yourself of your greatness, of how awesome it can be to really just allow yourself to be in the awe of being in this body, no matter how it performs. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Allowing your eyes to open. A nice soft focus for your eyes, allowing yourself to stay present in the environment. Continue to inhabit the body. And from here, we'll tilt our chin up towards the ceiling, looking up, finding a little bit of broadening through the chest. And continuing to look up towards the ceiling, take a nice big breath in and out. Slowly drop your head, chin towards the chest. Just let the head fall really heavy here and take a nice big breath in and out. Bring your head back up to neutral. Hands stay at your thighs. Take a nice inhale. Lift your heart and arch your back. As you exhale, round your back, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, lift the heart and arch the back. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, lift the heart, arch the back, stay there for a moment. Keep the chest nice and broad and take another deep breath in and out. And round the back, tuck the chin to the chest, stay there for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Now slowly start to shift your weight towards the left side, taking a bend into your elbows, rolling the torso forward, around to the right, around to the back, and then again rolling forward, around to the right and to the back. You can keep your hands at your thighs, or you can take your fingertips a little bit further forward. Allow your elbows to bend as you roll through the spine. Good, and then switching directions. Again, you may prefer to have your hands on your thighs or your knees, that's okay. Or you can take your fingertips a little bit further forward. Allow your shoulders and your upper back to get involved there. Nice big full breaths. And then nice and slowly, let's come on up to a nice neutral spine. Take your legs forward in front of you with your feet down and your knees bent up towards the ceiling. Take your fingertips behind you for support as we begin to lift out of the waist and lengthen the spine. And then from here, just slowly start to drop your knees towards the left side. Let them drop where they will, and just continue to allow your torso to rotate towards the left, finding a spinal twist. And within that spinal twist, see if you can just begin to roll your ribs around a few times. It doesn't matter which direction you roll in, just move intuitively in that direction that is working best for your body today. Continue to roll around. Good, and then nice and easy, let's come on up through center. Knees are bent, and then drop the knees over to the right side. Let the knees just drop where they will, and continue to allow your fingertips to gently walk back as we bring ourselves into a spinal twist. And then again, invite that rolling sensation for your ribs. finding a little bit more mobility in sometimes positions, moving in ways in sometimes positions where we're not often moving in those ways can be really beneficial, adding a little bit of variety to your body. Good, and nice and slowly, let's come back up to center. Keep your fingertips behind you, knees bent, and just allow the knees to gently rock from one side to the other. If your body starts to shift forward, that's okay. You can allow it. My body starts to creep forward, almost as if I'm walking a little bit. And then I just bring myself a little bit further back. Good. Good, and then the next time you're at your knees fall to the left, just stay there for a moment and then shift your right leg back a wee bit. So there's a little bit more space, but only to the available space, and your knees are in line with your ankles. And just take a moment here lifting up. You can stay forward or stay upright, or if there's some available space, walk the fingertips forward a wee bit and roll through the ribs, fingertips down. So that same movement we were taking, but here in a 90-90 or deer pose. Rolling around. Good, and settling through center. Again, you can stay upright, or if there's a little bit more availability, maybe tilt yourself forward a wee bit so you're coming into a little forward fold. These full deep breaths, allow that right hip to fall heavy. And then nice and slowly come on back up through the center. Knees come to center. Drop your knees over to the right side and then stay there and adjust yourself. Slowly sending that left leg back a wee bit, sitting up really nice and tall. Each knee is in line with that corresponding ankle. And then inhale, lift up. Breathing here, allow your hip to lower. You can stay right there, or if there's some availability, walk your fingertips forward and again, roll through your spine. So inviting a little bit of movement here, not only into the torso, but also into the hips. So there's a little bit more blood flow happening there. Warming up gently into the body and into those joints. And I don't care which direction you go, it doesn't matter, just inviting movement. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's come on back up to center. Take your knees back to center, and again, just take a few little windshield wipers, rocking your knees from side to side. Good, and then allowing that to settle, we'll swing our legs in front of us, and we'll come forward onto our hands and our knees, find a tabletop position, and then walk your hands forward, lengthening your spine into your puppy pose. As you lengthen your spine, drop your chest between your shoulders and find an engagement in the belly. Now you can keep those arms extended. If you'd like, bend your elbows and start to send the hands towards the back of your head or your neck or your shoulders. You can even give your neck or your shoulders a little bit of a massage if you're reaching there, or the back of your head. Just take a nice breath. Good, and then slowly we'll release that to plant our palms down and find ourselves in our tabletop position. Take your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders. And again, we'll bend them to the elbows and sort of roll around through the upper back. Good. Now again, I'm sort of modifying for myself because of my wrist. So take the variations that you need to take. Roll around in the opposite direction. Noticing if you can expand the breath. Good, and then we'll bring ourselves back up through to a tabletop position. Again, finding the wrists underneath the shoulders and move into more familiar movement, cats and cows. So inhale, lifting the heart, arching the back. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the chin. And just notice how that feels different for your spine and your body. So sometimes adding movement that is less familiar to your body may feel really, really good or really, really awkward. So then comparing it to movements that are perhaps more familiar to your body, like cats and cows, can be a really interesting study for yourself. Good. And let's come back to a nice neutral spine. Now you can stay in tabletop if you'd like, really activating through the core, or you can reach your arms forward into puppy pose and drop the chest down, or if you'd like and you're comfortable coming into downward facing dog, come on up into downward facing dog. Rooting your palms down as you lengthen your spine and find a little bit of movement, bending into one knee and the other. Sway your hips a little, shake out your head, and modify whenever you'd like at any point during our practice to support your body's needs. So I'm going to modify into a dolphin pose by lowering my forearms down. I could also lower the knees down and take a puppy pose. Reminding yourself that with whatever variation that you choose to take today, that is a sign of strength, a sign that we're really listening and honoring our bodies. Good. Now, wherever you are, with the knees down, taking those knees down as wide or as narrow as you like, take a moment to breathe your hips back towards your heels in a child's pose. Feeling free to pad up those knees by doubling up your mat or placing a pillow or towel underneath your knees or behind your knees to lift yourself up a little bit, or feeling free to send your weight a little further forward. If child's pose is not a resting pose for you, just take a moment to establish what is a resting pose for you and your body today. And once you find that, just remind yourself that you can always return here. Our practice is not really about finding newness or really changing anything. Our practice is reminding ourselves what is already there. It's a practice of remembering. So sometimes taking a resting pose as we move through our asana practice can remind us that whatever is happening in our bodies, whatever is present, it's there for a reason. Take another deep breath in and out. Good. And then bringing yourself back forward onto your hands and your knees. Reach your arms forward, keeping those knees down, and lengthen your spine into a puppy pose. Now, pressing your forearms down, feel as if you're slowly pulling your chest forward and drop those hips down and find a Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath your shoulders, feel free to readjust once you're here. And keep it active by pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat as you shine your heart forward. Lengthen your tailbone and the back of your neck. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Good. From here, press into your forearms, push back up through to your hands and your knees. Lengthen your spine and reach your arms forward, finding that puppy pose. You may need to adjust slightly to support yourself. That's fine. You don't have to enter the pose perfectly right away. Good. Now keep those forearms pressing down. Pull your chest forward, really active through the shoulders. Allow the hips to lower down, lift back up into your Sphinx pose. Take some time to really find your personal alignment. So lengthen the back of the neck. Keep it active. Good. Now one more time, press into your forearms, push up through the hands and knees, send the hips back, lengthen the spine, find your puppy pose, adjust as you see fit. And then pressing into your forearms, pull your chest forward, lower the hips, open up the chest, take some time to find the pose. Nice full deep breaths. And then we're slowly going to lower back down. Press your palms beside your ribs and slowly lift into a nice low cobra, perhaps a higher cobra if your spine feels ready, or if you prefer, you can stick with Sphinx Pose, taking your forearms down into the mat. You want to allow your whole spine to feel really supported, but also like we're strengthening our back body. Good. And then let's lower back down. And again, let's lift either onto your forearms or your palms. Sphinx, low cobra, or higher cobra if your spine feels ready. And exhale, lower back down. We'll take that a few more times. So inhale, lift. Reaching your heart forward, either with your forearms or your palms down. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. You can also lift up into an upward facing dog if you'd like, pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat and lifting the knees up on those hands. And then exhale, lower. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, lift, opening up. And exhale, lower. Good. From there, push up through to your hands and your knees and either move through some cats and cows here, or if you'd like, breathe your hips back into a child's pose. And after a series of back bends, when I'm in my child's pose, I just like a little bit of movement. Sometimes a little bit of swaying can help the spine to neutralize. That feels really good in my body. You may prefer some cats and cows. Just take some time to let yourself settle in the spine. Good. Good. And from there, reaching your arms as far forward as you can. Pull up through to your hands and your knees if you're not already there. Tuck your toes, lifting up and back into a brief downward facing dog, and then nice and slowly start to tiptoe or walk your feet forward to your hands, taking your time to hang nice and heavy over your legs. Breathe deeply into your body. Good. Now from here, find a halfway lift. Take your palms to your shins or your thighs, or you can take your hands up to a prop. Reach your heart forward into a halfway lift. Taking a nice refreshing inhale. And then as you exhale, lower back down. We'll gently step our right leg back behind us and ease our way onto the ball of that back foot. Now, if your hands feel far away from the floor, place your hands up on a block, and you may want to use this as we move through our flow today. So you can always place those hands up on a block. We're just going to take a moment to gently rock forward and back. Now, if it's too much to be on the ball of your foot, you can always lower that knee down and just gently rock the hips. But we're just going to gently move forward and back through the legs here, or through the torso here. And it's okay to have your knees slightly coming forward in front of your ankle there. That's a natural movement for our knees. So we want to invite, the allowance for natural movement in controlled environments. We can't walk up the stairs without our knee going in front of our ankle. So it's not a bad movement to be in. We just want to be conscious and move with care and caution. Not caution, compassion. Let's say compassion instead. Let's take one more breath. Good. And then ease your weight back into your front foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Take a moment and hang nice and heavy here. Find your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins, the thighs are a prop, reaching your heart forward. And then as you exhale, fold to step your left leg back behind you. Now again, feel free to place your hands up on a prop. Feel free to lower your knee if having it lifted is too much today. And just see if you can explore that forward and back. Gentle forward and back. And you may be feeling a lot of sensation in that back hip flexor. Sensation is not a bad thing. It's not bad glad to feel sensations in our body. It's just our body's way of talking to us. Just taking some time to listen. Good, and then nice and slowly start to settle. Send your weight back into that front foot. Step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Hang heavy over your legs. And then again, move into your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins, the thighs are a prop, reaching your heart forward. As you exhale, fold, and again, take your halfway lift. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, fold. Really connect to the breath here again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, unraveling. Exhale, releasing. One more time. Inhale, lift. And this time as you exhale, root your palms down, step your feet back, and find a plank pose. Feel free to take your plank from your hands and your feet, or your forearms and your feet, or your forearms and your knees, or hands and knees, wherever you'd like to be in your plank today. Give yourself a moment to set that up for yourself so you feel strong and stable, but also feel the body working. Nice full breath in. And as you exhale, lower the knees, lower down to the belly, hands and knees or hands and feet. And then find your back bend. So either keep your forearms down and lift your heart forward in a Sphinx pose, or take the palms down and lift for a nice low cobra, high cobra, or upward facing dog. Take a moment. As you exhale, lower back down, push up through to your hands and your knees, tuck your toes in, lift up and back into your downward facing dog. Or again, you can take table, or puppy, or dolphin. Just finding that moment to lengthen your spine, to settle your breath. Good. Wherever you are, lifting those knees if they're down, and slowly start to tiptoe or walk your feet forward to your hands, bending your knees there as much as you'd like, and hang nice and heavy over the legs. Let your head go. Find your palms to your shins. Lengthen your spine, halfway lift. As you exhale, fold and step your right leg back behind you. Now this time, let's lower that right knee down to the mat. Feel free to double up that mat for extra padding underneath that back knee if you'd like, and place your hands up on a block or whatever you're using today if that floor feels far away. Take a moment to reach your heart forward, lengthen out of your waist. And then nice and slowly start to send the hips back, finding length in that front leg. Don't worry if it straightens, just feel the sensation of length. And if it's available, flex the front toes. Good, now from here, see if you can move into some semblance of a cat and cow. So inhale, lift your heart, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Stay there for a moment. Bend back into that front knee. Now, from here, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. As you bring your back foot forward, see if you can hover it up off of the mat. So sending your weight into that front foot, see if you can slowly bring that back leg back and allow it to hover for a brief moment before you set it down. Once it's down, find your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins, the thighs are a prop. As you exhale, fold and step your left leg back behind you. Again, lowering that left knee down to the mat. Feel free to double up your mat. Feel free to place your hands up on a prop. Reaching your heart forward, lengthen out of your waist. And then starting to send your hips back. Find that length in the front leg. Feeling length. Don't worry about straight. And maybe those toes flex. Support yourself as you see fit. Breathing here. And then noticing if we can begin to explore some cats and cows in this position. So inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, rounding, tucking, scooping. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, rounding, tucking, scooping. Inhale, lifting. exhale, grounding. And one more time, inhale, lifting. From here, start to bend back into that front knee. Tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. Now again, we're going to see if we can step that back leg forward slowly and allow it to hover up off of the floor before we set it down. So send your weight forward. Slowly start to bring that left leg in. Allow it to hover for a moment. And then set that foot back down. Palms come to your shins, lengthen your spine, root your palms down, step your feet back to your variation of a plank and take a moment to set that up for yourself. Breathing. Lowering down to the belly from your hands and your knees or your hands and your feet or chaturanga if you practice. And then with a really nice refreshing inhale, lift your heart into your back bend, Sphinx, low cobra, high cobra, or upward facing dog. As you exhale, lower back down, push up through to your hands and your knees and find your downward facing dog. So maybe tabletop, maybe puppy pose, maybe dolphin. Letting your head go as you stabilize through the breath. Good. Now wherever you are, lift those toes up or knees up. Lift up onto the balls of your feet and slowly tiptoe, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to your hands. Take a moment to hang nice and heavy over your legs. Good. Now find your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins, the thighs, or a prop. Exhale, fold. Now this time, take a nice inhale. Sweep the arms up overhead. Bring yourself up to stand. Releasing your arms beside you, take a moment to notice how it feels like to stand nice and tall in the body. Rooting your feet down, either hip width apart or wider, or take big toes touching, heels a sliver apart. Grounding down through your feet as you lift up through the crown of your head. Take a nice big inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Nice full exhale, fold forward over your legs. Palms come to the shins, thighs or a prop, halfway lift, reach your heart forward. As you exhale, fold, step your right leg back behind you and lower your right knee down to your mat. Reaching your heart forward as you lengthen out of your waist. Set yourself up as you see fit. You can pad up that back knee. You can place your hands up on a prop if the floor feels far away. With a nice exhale, start to send your hips back, lengthening that front leg. Find length. Don't worry about how it looks. Reaching your heart forward. And then nice and slowly bend back into that front knee. Come back into your low lunge. Reaching your heart forward. And then nice and slowly again, sending your hips back. Now this time you want to have support through your hands. So hands can be on an elevated surface. You can stay right here or play with the idea of slowly lifting that left leg up off of the floor. Just hovering, really activating the belly muscles. A breath. And then lower the heel back down, bend back into that front knee, reaching your heart forward. You can stay with your hands down here or come up to the thigh, or if you'd like, lift those arms up overhead. Really refreshing, renewing inhale as you lift up through the fingertips. Good, and then as you exhale, reaching your fingertips forward, find length in the spine, and then release your fingertips to frame your front foot. As you tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, send your weight into your front foot. Slowly step that back foot forward and allow it to hover off of the mat as it meets your left foot, and then plant that foot down. Take a moment, find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step your left leg back behind you, lowering that left knee down to your mat. Take a moment, set yourself up, use props, pad up that back knee if you need to. With a nice exhale, send the hips back, feeling that length. Good, and then nice and slowly come back into that low lunge, reach your heart forward. Good, and now one more time, sending your hips back. Now again, we want to have support through our fingertips here. Feel as if you're almost getting a little sucker punch into the belly, like a little pull in. And then see if you can lift your right heel up off of the mat, really activating the core muscles. That thigh should be really activated. And then lower that heel back down, bringing yourself forward. Reach your heart forward as you open up through the chest. Stay with your hands down. Come up to the thigh or lift the torso up. Reaching through your fingertips, almost just unraveling through the body as we open up. And then as we come forward, feel length in your spine. So we're reaching forward really nice and slowly. And then take your fingertips to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Send your back foot forward to meet your front foot, allowing it to hover. So move slowly. Good, and then plant that left foot down. From there, find your palms to your shins. Lengthen your spine as you exhale, fold. Take a nice inhale, sweep your arms up, come to stand. And exhale, come back through to your Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, take a nice inhale, guide the arms up, reaching up, lifting, lengthening. Connect through your palms, bow forward over your legs. Finding your palms to your shins, reach your heart forward. As you exhale, fold. Step your right leg back behind you and land on the ball of your right foot. Feel free to lower your back knee down at any point where we were before. Take a moment here. You may want to place your hands up on a block and just slowly shift forward and back. And just notice that shifting movement. Letting that back hip flexor really warm up. Breathing deeply. Good. Take a moment to stabilize through center. Stay with your hands down or come up to the thigh, or from there, lift and rise. Crescent lunge as you reach through your fingertips. Lots of breath. Good. Now, just as we just did in our lower lunge with our knee down, see if you can reach your arms forward, lengthening your torso. And then sweep your arms back behind you. Reach through the fingertips. From there, start to shift your weight forward into that front foot. And you may want to tiptoe that back foot in a little bit. And then if you're comfortable, experiment with the idea of lifting that back leg up. Torso nice and long like an arrow for a warrior 3. Breathing, that back foot can touch down at any point. Now we're going to start to think about our fingertips. So the fingertips slowly start to lower down as we lift our torso up, reaching through the crown of the head. Keep that back foot hovering as best as possible. And then the fingertips are going to reach forward, guiding that right leg forward. Fingertips reach up towards the ceiling as that right leg reaches forward. Press through your heel. It can touch down at any point. Good. Revisiting where we just were, coming back into our warrior 3, seeing if we can experiment with keeping that right leg hovering. Right leg hinges back, fingertips reach forward, down and back into that crescent or into that warrior 3. And now find your crescent lunge. So bend back into that front knee, land on the ball of the foot. Lifting up into crescent lunge and then pivot your back foot flat. A brief warrior 2. Once you find yourself there, straighten that front leg, lift up and back, reverse Trikonasana. Now coming back through to center, bend into your front knee. As you do so, pivot onto the ball of that back foot, find your crescent lunge. And then release your hands to frame your front foot. And ease your back foot forward to meet your front foot. See if you can still find that hovering sensation. So we're really teaching our body about control there. And then slowly lower back down. From there, find your palms to your shins. Find your halfway lift. As we exhale, fold. Step your left leg back behind you and land on the ball of that back foot. Again, you can always lower that back knee down. Hands can be up on an elevated surface. Reaching your heart forward as you lengthen here, active through that back leg. Stay with your hands down or come up to the thigh, or if and when you're ready, lift your torso up into your crescent lunge. Feel the top inner thighs squeezing together, reaching through your fingertips. Soften your shoulders, soften your jaw, your tongue. Breathe here. Now I forgot to add our little shifting, so bring your hands back down. I'm going to add it in right here. Let's slowly start to shift forward and back. And again, you can skip it if you prefer. Just want to invite that idea and that movement into your muscles, not just your brain. Good. And then settle through center and then lift your torso up, reaching up into your crescent lunge as you soften your shoulders, steady your gaze. Breathe deeply. Now that same reach forward, long torso as we reach through our fingertips. And then as the fingertips reach back, lengthening our torso like a nice little arrow, we reach through the crown of our head. Starting to shift your weight back forward into that front foot. You may want to gently tiptoe that back foot forward as we send our weight forward, or allow the leg to lift. Reaching your fingertips back, long torso, crown of the head is reaching forward, back leg is active. Now thinking of that hovering, that lovely control, fingertips start to lower down as we lift our torso up, crown of the head up towards the ceiling. As the fingertips move forward, we guide the leg to reach the leg forward. It doesn't have to lift high, only to the degree that's available. Fingertips lift up, leg reaches forward, lift through the crown of the head. Revisiting where we just were, come back into your warrior three, tilting forward, reach the arms back. Lots of length, lots of space. Good, now bending into that front knee, release to the ball of that back foot, lift into a crescent lunge. Now we're there just for a moment before we pivot our back foot flat into a warrior two. Front heel lines up with back arch. And we're there just for a moment as we straighten our front leg and we lift up and back into reverse Trikonasana. Now, as we come back through center, bend into the front knee, pivot onto the ball of that back foot, revisit your crescent lunge. Lower your hands down. Ease your back foot forward to meet your front foot, allowing it to hover for a brief moment. And then lower that foot back down. Let your head go. Take a moment. Nice big breath in and out. Good. Slowly take your time. Start to roll through your spine and bring yourself to stand. And just appreciate standing here on 2 feet for a moment. A moment to really be in your body. And we'll just see if we can explore that sequence, that movement really, really slowly here together one more time. So let's take a nice inhale, sweep the arms up. Connect your palms, bow forward over your legs. Palms come to your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, step your right leg back behind you. Set up for your crescent lunge. Good, now this time we'll lift up right away. So again, you can stay with your hands down or lift up right away. And then once you're up, set up for your warrior three. Tilt your torso forward, arms reach back. Start to send your weight into your left foot and either tiptoe into your warrior three or lift. Let your toes touch down whenever they need to. Shifting your torso to stand will allow that right foot to hover and then start to send your right leg back, right leg up, lifting the arms up, that right leg forward. Breathing. Come back into your warrior three, really nice and slowly. Bend into that left knee. Land in your crescent lunge. So land on the ball of that back foot as you lift your torso up. Pivot your back foot flat, warrior two, to straighten your front leg into reverse Trikonasana. Taking your time. Come back through center. Pivot onto the ball of that back foot as you lift back into your crescent lunge. Then release your hands down. Ease your back foot forward. Allow it to hover for a moment. Plant that foot down. Inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold. Step your left leg back behind you. Crescent lunge. Lifting up right away this time. Once you're there, transitioning into your warrior three, tilting your torso forward. Feel free to tiptoe that foot. Good. Now, as we start to lift our torso up, we allow our left leg to sweep down and forward, lifting that left leg up. Fingertips up towards the ceiling, settle the shoulders. Slowly transitioning back into your warrior three, tilting forward, reaching that left leg back. Bend into that right knee, left ball of your foot lands as we lift back up into our crescent lunge. Opening up into warrior two, pivoting that back foot flat and then straightening that front leg, reverse Trikonasana. Coming back through to center, pivot onto the ball of that back foot, crescent lunge, then releasing your hands down, slowly step your left foot to meet your right foot and then plant that foot down, let your head go. Nice big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Slowly start to bend into your knees, allowing your hips to lower. Feel free to widen your legs a little. Feel free to place your hands on a chair or a block. As you allow your hips to lower, take your hands behind you for support and land onto your bum. Feet stay in front of you, heels down. Lift up through the chest, Navasana. Stay with your hands beside your hips or hold on to the back of your thighs. Or if you'd like, reach your arms forward. Experiment with lifting one foot up and then the other. Stay with that or lift both feet up. Keep your knees bent or extend your legs. And again, your hands can be beside you or underneath your thighs. Take a moment, breathe. And slowly lower your feet down. C-curve your spine. Slowly start to roll yourself down. You can walk down your thighs for support if you'd like. Rolling through your spine. And rest on your back. Let your shoulders fall heavy. Let your breath expand through the whole body. Rooting your feet down, knees up towards the ceiling, palms beside you. Start to tilt your pelvis. So lengthen your tailbone, tilt your hip points towards your ribs. Roll through your spine and lift your hips up. Keep your palms beside you or root your elbows down, or if you'd like, interlace your fingers behind your back or lift your arms up overhead. Nice big breath. Activate through your glutes. Lengthen your hip flexors. Rolling through the spine, releasing the hips back down. Take a breath. One more time. Tilt your pelvis. Engage your glutes, lifting up. Nice big breath. And on your exhale, roll through the spine, release the hips down. Now this time, take the soles of your feet together, knees open to the side. Supta Baddha Konasana, allowing those knees to open up. You can stay here and rest, or if you'd like, press through the outer edge of your feet. Engage your glutes and your hamstrings and lift your hips up. So butterfly bridge. Breathing. Take a moment, gently feel as if your inner thighs are squeezing together just for a moment. And then open back up to slowly roll through your spine and release down. Take a breath. And then hug your knees into your chest. Give your knees a good squeeze. Really pull the thighs towards the body. Softening your jaw. Roll through your spine a little bit, find some ease. Good. And then plant your left foot down and hold on behind the back of your right thigh. You can keep your left foot planted down, or if you'd like, you could extend the left leg long. And then from here, start to think about lengthening that right leg, just like we did in our flow. It doesn't need to straighten, just feel that feeling of length. Now, having the hand behind the thigh, wherever it rests best, start to press your leg, your thigh into your hands for a moment. And then keeping your hands where they are, start to think about pulling the leg towards you away from the hands and then back to the hands. So pulling the leg towards you away from the hands and then back to the hands. Take that 2 more times. Pull the leg towards you, just with the strength of your legs, not using your hands. And then 1 more time. And release. Good. Bend into that right leg. Release the right leg. Give it a little shake. Squeeze your left leg into the chest. Hold on to the back of your thigh. You can have your right knee bent if that feels more supportive for you today. And then if you're ready, extend that left leg long. Again, we want our spine to be settled on the floor here. Good. Now starting to think about really actively pressing the leg away from you. So it's really pressing into the hands. Really active release here. And then as you let that go, keep the hands where it is. Start to pull the leg towards you, away from the hands, and then back to the hands. Good. Pull the leg towards you, and then back to the hands. 2 more times. Pull the leg towards you, and back to the hands. 1 more time. 1 more time. Pulling it towards you, and then release. Bend that leg, release the leg, give the leg a little shake out. Maybe give the hips a little shake out. And then both knees come into the chest. Give the knees a good little squeeze. Hold on to the backs of your thighs and extend the legs up towards the ceiling. They do not need to be straight. Take a moment, breathe. Both hands to the backs of your thighs. Just see here for a moment, you can keep the hands where they are and pull the legs towards you just for a moment. And then lower, bend your knees, right hand on your right knee, left hand on your left knee. Allow your knees to drop open and find a little bit of movement. Maybe you want to sway. Maybe you want to roll those knees a little bit. Breathe deeply. Good. Now from here, extend your left leg. Keep your right knee hugging in towards your body, and then just start to open your right leg out to the side a little bit more. You can continue to hold on to the front of your knee or the back of your thigh, or bend so the bottom of your foot is up towards the ceiling, and hold on to your calf, or if you've got it, you can hold on to the top of your foot from the pinky toe side of your foot and come into a half happy baby. So that right knee is pulling towards the outside of your hip, outside of your ribs. Good. Now you can stay here or start to pull your heel towards you. Hold on to your ankle. Rotate your right hip open a little bit more, allowing your right knee to drop forward, and drop your foot onto your left hip flexor or thigh and allow that right knee to open up. Skip it if it's not available for you today. Don't want to have tension in your knee joint or your ankle joint, so only move into available space. Take a nice deep breath. And then letting that go, release that right leg. Hug your left knee into the chest, give it a good squeeze. Pull the knee towards the outside of your left ribs. Continue to hold on to the top of your knee, or bend your knee and hold on to the back of your thigh, your calf, or the top of your foot. So you'll be holding onto your foot with your left hand at the pinky toe side of your foot. I will not because of my broken wrist. So do as I say, not as I do. Good. And feel free to stay there or hold on to your left ankle. Continue to allow your left hip to rotate open, placing your left foot on your right hip flexor or thigh, and allow your left hip to drop open. Take a nice deep breath. Good, letting that go. Just give your legs a little shake out. Good, and then bend your knees. Take your arms into a nice wide T shape beside you. Allow your knees to drop over to the right, hip shift to the left. Feel free to keep one knee stacked on top of the other or cross your top knee over your bottom knee. You can pad yourself up with pillows or blankets. Just allow both shoulders to fall nice and heavy. Nice big full breaths, releasing the weight of your body with your exhales. Good, slowly bringing yourself back through center. Shift to the other side. So hips shift to the right, knees drop to the left. Keep your knees stacked or cross your top knee over your bottom knee. Support yourself with lots of blankets or pillows if you'd like. Just surrendering the weight of your body down with some nice, strong, full exhales. Slowly come on back through the center and prepare for your final posture, Shavasana. So if there are any socks or sweaters you'd like to put on, go ahead. Any sips of water or final movements you'd like to take, feel free. And then find the most comfortable position for your body to rest in today. Perhaps a corpse pose, legs extended, arms extended, eyes closed. Or Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees open to the side. Or constructive rest, take the soles of the feet to the outside of your yoga mat, knees falling at center. Or lie on your side or your belly. Again, supporting yourself with blankets, towels. Feel free to rest in a cozy, comfy couch if you prefer. Just taking some time to feel your way into the body, being in the body, breathing in the body, surrendering the weight of the body. Relaxing your toes and your feet, your legs and your hips, your belly and your chest, your shoulders and your arms, your hands and your fingers. Releasing some tension in your neck, your jaw, the space between your eyebrows, your forehead, and rest. And slowly begin to bring a greater awareness to your body and the space around you. Perhaps invite your breath to deepen, or invite a little bit of movement back to your body, perhaps wiggling fingers or toes, maybe taking a great big stretch, maybe even a yawn or some sighing. From there, in the easiest way possible, gently bring yourself up to a nice, comfortable seated position. And we will end our practice together today. Once you're there, traveling up the length of your spine, lifting up really nice and tall. You can have your hands resting on your body or beside your body, maybe one hand to heart, one hand to belly, wherever you'd like to be. Bow the head. A moment of gratitude for this body, of awe for this body. Going out into the world, into the rest of your day, and living in your greatness. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time to practice today. And I thank you for sharing your practice with me. Stay well. Thanks so much, everyone. It was lovely to be with you as always. Thank you for joining me. You can always let me know if you have any questions or sharings. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you next week.